Alright guys, we're back. I have another vinyl haul for you guys. And happy Valentine's Day, in case anyone has not said that to you yet. I'm going to start with some 7s. I don't think I've shown any on my channel for a little while. So here's some now. Starting off with Good Morning Judge by 10cc. This is backed with Don't Squeeze Me Like Toothpaste. Interesting stuff there. Next up is the song I'm Not In Love by 10cc, backed with Good News. Wild World by Jimmy Cliff, backed with Be Aware. I picked it up just for the label, but it's not genuinely my type of thing. But the song Wild World is produced by Cat Stevens, funny enough, or interestingly enough. So there's that. And a couple of reggae 7-inches here. This is Max Romeo with Rank Crisis on the Unity Palmer label, backed with a dub version. And on the Techniques label is the Silvertones, That's When It Hurts, backed with I'll Take You Home. The reason I picked this 7-inch up is because the album containing both of these two songs is a good Too Much Money album. So yeah, there is those. Next up is a reggae 12-inch, which I don't normally pick up. I think I've only got one of these in the past, but this is one I quite enjoyed. This is Gregory Isaacs with What a Feeling, which is backed with a dub version. But what's interesting about this is on a see-through red vinyl, and it is a nice copy of this. Really nice song as well, actually. I do quite enjoy Gregory Isaacs' work quite a bit, so nice little pickup there. And interesting, a house 12-inch, house music 12-inch. I don't normally do this, but I do enjoy this remix or this mashup. This is the Stretch and Vern remix of Earth, Wind and Fire's Boogie Wonderland. Really nice remix. It's got an instrumental and an a cappella as well, so really nice to have that. I do quite enjoy a cheeky little remix here and there, so that's a nice little thing to have. Next thing was something I got brand new, but it's not a brand new release. This is the Foo Fighters Cecillia EP. Foo Fighters isn't normally something I pick up. 2015 release, 2015, yeah. And yes, I'm aware that this was released as a free download on Google Play and Apple Music, as it's now called. But I had to get this on vinyl. I am a vinyl head for life now, and I had to get this. And Iron Rooster is probably my favourite song off of this album. Which opens side 2, which is fantastic. Only 5 songs on here, but that's what I like about it. Is it's not too much to take in all at once, and a nice place to start with Foo Fighters if you are just getting in yourself. Get into them. I've of course been into them for a while, but I'm not too fussed about owning this off on vinyl as of this moment in time. And this piece of hair is really distracting me. It'll do. A couple of synth pop albums here, starting off with the Human League, Crash. Really nice pickup here. Human is probably my favourite song off of this one. And Are You Ever Coming Back is probably another one of my favourites off of this. 80, don't tell me, I think it's 86 this one. Do believe this is 86, but yeah, they're touring again here in the UK. Wish I could go see them, but unfortunately tickets are so expensive, so I won't be seeing Human League. But nice to know I now have a nice copy of their album on vinyl. Next up is probably one of my favourite 80s synth pop bands at the moment, because of the one song that opens this album. And this is this album Hunting High and Low by Aha, and Take On Me is on this album, which actually opens the album. But it's also got The Sun Always Shines on TV, which it was another single off of this, but honestly, Take On Me probably is my favourite song by a-ha, even though it's their most popular, and then Love Is Reason is another song I really liked off of this album. So there it is. 1985? Yeah, 1985, the year on this one. Original inner sleeve to go with it. It is on the Warner Brothers label. So there is that. Nice little pickup. And yeah, just nice to have some 80s synth pop in the collection. And you cannot go wrong with a bit of a-ha, Norwegian synth pop there, but it's good stuff. Now for some soul and funk, where it all started for me. And unfortunately this album by this artist, their second album, is not as good as their first in my opinion. This is Come Together as One by Will Downing. Still a good album, don't get me wrong. It's just compared to his first album, his self-titled album, it's not that great. Oh yeah, and if you go to my channel and you look at my new banner, you'll see Will Downing's first album featured on my banner. But I basically just updated that to give new subscribers a little sneak preview of what to expect on my channel if they're new. Yeah, Purple Island label. Yeah, so there's that. Will Downing, Come Together as One. Next album is George and Gwen McCrae Together. Really nice album, soulful, sort of slow funk. Really good album. Enjoyed this quite a bit on the Yellow President label. Yeah, this is just a fantastic album from start to finish. Really, really is. Not a lot to say about it, other than it's a great album, and definitely something to check out if you maybe like this type of music. I don't know, but there's that. And the final album in the funk and soul genre I picked up this time around is Non-Stop by BT Express. I know I showed a BT Express album in the last vinyl haul, but this one I couldn't pass on as Wu-Tang, was it Wu-Tang? I think it was Tribe Called Quest actually who sampled it, and it was sampled in the exact same album I showed off last time. So there is that album. 75's the year, so nice to have that. Onto some hard rock now. This is Blue Oyster Cult, Agents of Fortune. Wasn't a huge fan of this album. A couple of songs I recognized. I think, what was it? Don't Fear the Reaper was probably the big track off of this that I recognized. Wasn't a big fan of this, but might have to give it a few more listens just to make sure, but still some great stuff on here nonetheless. Actually a Led Zeppelin pickup. I don't think I've shown off any Led Zeppelin on my channel yet. I don't think so. Maybe one 7-inch, but nothing too crazy. But this is I think this is second press of Led Zeppelin III. The cover does not match the record, unfortunately, which I'm not too bothered about, to be honest, as long as the vinyl plays alright, which it does. Really, really nice copy of this, and the spindle still works, if you can see that. The spindle still works, which is very rare to find a working spindle Led Zeppelin III nowadays, but there it is. I finally own Led Zeppelin's third album. No, wait! I have shown off Led Zeppelin before on my channel, excuse me. I've shown off Physical Graffiti before. So yes, this is the second Zeppelin album I've shown off on my channel. 1970 is the year on this one. So there it is, Led Zeppelin III. Finally own another one of their albums. And I've talked in the past about certain bands being really hard to find, and I'm going to keep bringing this up every time I find one of their albums. But the bands that are really hard to find in my area in particular are Kiss, Black Sabbath, and AC/DC. This is their 1976 release, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Unfortunately, not a very good condition copy of this. Atlantic label, the same label as the Led Zeppelin album, which I forgot to show the label of that, but it doesn't really matter. Original lyric sheet and all in there, but I wish I could have enjoyed this a lot more. It's got the potential to be such a good album. It's just a shame the vinyl's a bit mashed up. So, but there it is. Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap by AC/DC. Next up is Troubadour by JJ Cale. I got this just for the song Cocaine, which of course Eric Clapton covered. But this is a fantastic album. I really enjoyed this one. Original inner. Nothing on that side, but really nice. Really nice copy of this album. There it is on Shelter. Is that Shelter Records? Yep. Shelter Records. Troubadour, JJ Cale. Great album. And some more stuff by 10cc. Yes, making loads of appearances in this one, but just filling in some gaps in the collection. Kind of becoming a completist on 10cc. As of late, this is their album, How Dare You. Really good copy of this. Nice stuff. I do quite enjoy this album actually. And I Want to Rule the World. And rock, Art for Art's Sake, and were probably the two songs off of here I enjoyed the most. Not their greatest album, but still good. Just I wouldn't say it's my favorite, just because there are a couple of weak points on this album, but still good. Not complaining or anything. Next up is 10cc Live and Let Live, their live album from 1977. Really nice album actually. Quite enjoyed this. There is a bit of damage on the inside of the gatefold there. You can probably see that. But again, I can't play the covers, so I'm never really too bothered about the cover. As long as there is a cover on the record, I'm so fine with this. It's got Wall Street Shuffle on here. It's got Good Morning Judge on here. I'm Not in Love on here. Unfortunately, this came out before Bloody Taurus, so Dreadlock Holiday's not on here. But still a fantastic live album. One of the best ones I've heard out of the ones I have. So great album, great recording. Definitely a nice pickup there. Only one jazz album. I'm a little bit disappointed with how many jazz albums I picked up this time around, but I'm happy with the one I got. This is Count Basie plays his hits from the 60s. This is the greatest hits. American pressing of this. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the American pressings cover-wise, but the vinyl is really good stuff. Just because there's very little room between the where the vinyl comes out and the actual jacket there on Pickwick Records. Really good stuff. Great album. Count Basie, of course, is always great. So really nice to pick that up and have a nice, beautiful copy of that on vinyl. The vinyl, at least, not the cover so much, but definitely a great album. A soundtrack, yes. I have a soundtrack. Very rare for me to pick one of these up, unless it's brand new. But this is the E.T. soundtrack. I actually did quite enjoy this soundtrack. Haven't watched the film in years, mind, but I do like the soundtrack. I don't know if it's just because it's John Williams, but it's definitely good. This is actually a German pressing of this, which is really nice to have, and a nice addition to the soundtrack collection. The Cloud MCA label. Fun times there. Yeah, it is John Williams that did the soundtrack to this, and 82 is the year on this. So the vinyl pressing isn't brilliant because it is 80s, but still some good stuff. And the final thing I got, which I actually got today, is this bootleg, but it's a acoustic sessions, I guess, unplugged sort of thing, from the Arctic Monkeys, my favourite band. I've said in the past that AC/DC is my favourite band. That's not necessarily true. I do listen to Arctic Monkeys and 10cc a lot more than I listen to AC/DC nowadays, so I guess Arctic Monkeys is technically my favourite band. This is sort of an unplugged, but it's just acoustic sessions from different radio shows and things like that, so nice little thing to have. Really good recording as well. Very, very good pressing of this, so very, very pleased to have that. And yes, it is a bootleg, but I'm not too bothered. So that is it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel, and I will see you guys again very soon. Peace!